talking to nobody right now.
Well, I just wanted to stay out of the way for the guests to have.
No. They are not guests until their time. And their time. Oh, you want need the password? It's Wolverine 1960. Capital W.
I'll humor you, Mike.
That's all they want is the Wi-Fi. They don't care. Just come in and get the Wi-Fi.
Oh.
Then they say thank you. They don't care. All right, Matt's mission coming up in a couple of minutes is along with Grizzle Pride, and then we will have some psychic fun with Psychic Thursday, and Lisa from Crystal Visions will be here. But right now, Jim Barney is here. What's up, Jim?
Well, I was talking to Kathy yesterday, and she reminded me she was coming down here to do a program with her daughter Kelly and Miranda.
Yeah.
And it rang a couple of bells in my head, and so I decided to
nothing like having your bell rung.
Come down and show my support for what they're doing. But I also wanted to make a few comments in regards to some news that I saw a day or two ago, and that was in regards to the Shackler family, Purdue Pharma.
Now, who are they? Who is the Shackler family?
Maybe they're the ones that founded and controlled Purdue Pharma.
Okay.
And they were a major instrument in the opioid, the OxyContin opioid epidemic. I'll just read a few headlines that I just happened to look at this morning because there was a proposed settlement by some judge who, well, as you know, I have very little respect for the judicial system at this point in life, and that this settlement that's being reached is just hammers that point home more. If you get money, you can do anything you want and get away with it. Okay, but Purdue Pharma execs to pay $634 million in fines. Well, they absconded with about $8 million,
which is pocket change for them.
Prior to 2017. When they knew they had some problems coming down the road, and so they started draining the cash out of the company. Purdue Pharma pleads guilty to federal criminal charges. Opioid manufacturer Purdue Pharma pleads guilty to fraud. Purdue Pharma scrambles to discourage DOJ appeal. OxyContin maker fined $8 billion. Purdue Pharma will pay. The thing is, they're in bankruptcy. They don't have
anything.
They don't have $8 billion to pay.
Yeah.
Why aren't the principals of this company? Why aren't they being stripped of all of the illegal proceeds that they've obtained over the years? Okay,
because the laws of incorporation protect them.
400,000 people died from the opioid crisis.
Which is something we're gonna, I'm sure we'll touch on in a little bit.
Purdue Pharma settlement keeps Sacklers from jail.
Now these are all headlines, right?
These are all headlines. Yeah. Okay. I would need the 2 hours to just go through the details of it. But I just wanted to put that out there in advance of the work that Matt's mission is doing. Right. And I take my hat off to Kathy. One thing I keep fighting with people about is, I can't do anything. I can't do anything. I keep saying one person makes a difference. Everything starts with one person, okay? And this started with Kathy, to the best of my knowledge, by her getting a couple of other people involved, and it's grown to what it is. So I don't want to hear anybody say, I can't do anything.
It's true. It's true. There are lots of things that have started in this area alone just by one person.
Yeah, well, the gun range.
Oh, we moved microphones. Okay, go ahead, Paul. Paul.
Yeah.
Jim.
I got a different name today.
Yeah,
like
gun range.
The gun range.
Right.
Okay.
That started by one person.
Yeah.
And
I'm just so sick and tired of people saying, I can't do anything. I'm only one person. Don't give me that bull. Get up and do something instead of sitting around.
Come on, Kelly. Come on in.
No, well,
Yeah. We don't wait.
I feel like I wasn't ready. I still have my coat on and whatnot.
That's all right.
I'm gonna take it off.
Huh?
I'm gonna take it off.
Okay.
Just the coat.
There's a woman, a young woman comes into my office here, and goes, I'm going to take it off. And I'm like, what?
Yeah. I saw Mike's eyes start to glow.
What? And you think you weren't ready? I wasn't ready.
Keeping you on your toes.
God. Miranda's coming in now. All right. So this Saturday, from, was it 9 to 12?
It is
9 to 12 at Veterans Memorial Park is Matt's Missions Celebrates Recovery. And that is this Saturday. So why, I'm going to ask you right off. This is Kelly
Hi.
from Matt's Mission. Why do you call it Celebrates Recovery?
Well, recovery in and of itself is a journey. It's a positive path forward. So we celebrate that. We celebrate what it takes to get to that place, what it takes to stay on that path, and it's a new way of life, and that should be celebrated. It's amazing.
Now, there's going to be a lot of speakers. Now, I've been to each one of the events.
Yep.
I apologize. I didn't go to the first one.
I missed last year's.
We did last year virtual.
Last year was virtual.
Yeah,
It's still online.
Yep. So you can
watch it
still
online.
go.
You can still go. Tickets are available, Jim. So this Saturday, now there's going to be raffles.
Yep.
I mean, that's just one side of it, but the main side of it is the message.
Yes.
And it's not all puppies and unicorns, is it?
No. I mean,
it's not a lot of rah-rah going, yeah, recovery, yeah. There's a lot of hard truth that goes into this.
Hard truth. Yeah. And we do the Today I Matter with all the photos of people who have lost their lives.
I'm glad you said that,
and-
because that was exactly what I was going to.
Yep. And it puts some faces and life to these statistics that we talk about. And it shows the person behind the disease. So that's a pretty powerful part. All those photos will be lined up around the periphery of the park.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And so along with Today I Matter, there will be a bunch of different speakers that will give, I'm assuming, personal accounts.
Yeah, we
as
have
well?
we have a couple speakers for people that are in long-term recovery. So they'll tell their story about their journey. And Daryl McGraw, one of our board members, is also going to speak. He's
a wonderful, that guy.
Yeah.
He's something else.
Full of personality.
He is.
Personality. So that should be a nice speech.
That is Daryl is one hell of a story in just himself.
He is.
You know, and his journey from addiction and other criminal activity and jail and
Yep.
coming out, and he basically helps people transition. Correct?
Yes. Yep. And he's another one of those people. One person can. He started that. It was his mission when he came out from being incarcerated. So yeah, he's quite a guy. He's doing a lot out there.
So how many speakers are you going to have at Matt's Mission Celebrate Recovery?
We'll have 3 total speakers. Of course, our MC Jack, also our board member. He'll be in between the speakers.
Sounds like a rap star.
Yeah.
Yo, MC Jack.
I mean, he's kind of left the rap era behind, but yeah.
DJ K Money right here.
It's me.
What?
And we'll play the Matt's Mission song too,
which is Dave Drobiak.
Yes,
he wrote and produced that song, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's beautiful. It is beautiful. So, and of course, our raffle and all our resource tables. We're going to have Narcan and T-shirts available for free while supplies last. So, anybody out there that might need some Narcan.
Now, who there are going to be vendors there as well, right? And different organizations are going to be setting up and giving information, right?
Yep, absolutely.
And one of them is Grizzle Pride. Here, let's help you out here.
Good morning.
Let me turn the microphone on. Here we go. Hi, Miranda.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Hi. So now you're also participating in Matt's Mission Celebrate Recovery.
Absolutely.
And what kind of, I mean, last year, of course, it was all virtual, but the year before, I remember you had lock boxes that you were giving out. You were giving away these caps.
Yes.
As well.
We're all out of those right now currently. So we'll just be there providing support and with lots of resources. We did get some from the Uncas Health District as well with their harm reduction and risk reduction services program. So we have some great info from them to hand out as well.
What is the biggest threat to the opioid epidemic as far as people getting hold of these medications that are not for them?
I think, social access to medications is our biggest, risk factor that we face here. I think people are starting to catch on, safe storage, safe disposal are very important to prevent.
It's not necessarily
misuse.
street value. It's what
Right.
people are finding in somebody's medicine cabinet.
Correct. But there are, fake pills on the market that are actually, they're marketed as Percocet or Oxy, but they're fentanyl and they are causing overdoses. We have seen that locally.
And it's also been found in marijuana too. Am I not?
Yeah, I wouldn't say, we know there has been fentanyl laced marijuana, but when I say fentanyl laced, I mean cross-contaminated somewhere. I don't think the marijuana was deliberately laced with fentanyl. I think that it was either cross-contaminated when it was packaged at the dealers or when they were preparing whatever they were using at their own home or residence. It could have been cross-contaminated.
We had a comment just from Paul Gilbert. He goes, "I love recovery. 16 years of freedom for me. Best gift that was freely given to me."
Congratulations.
Yeah, that's awesome, Paul.
I can't applaud people more who have an addiction and can get help and get improved from that addiction.
Yep.
I just can't imagine how difficult that must be.
To come out the other
So I
side,
take my
yeah.
hat off to everybody that has done
Mhm.
that.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Yeah, well, it's a family disease as well. It doesn't just affect the individual. So, the recovery journey is going to incorporate the family as well. So you need a really good support system to get onto that journey and be successful with it.
So you've been involved with Grizzle Pride for quite some time now.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get involved with Grizzle Pride?
So I've been in the prevention field for 20 years and I've worked with various coalitions all over Eastern Connecticut, starting at Eastern, actually, ECSU. And then we moved up to Putnam, and Putnam and Griswold were just a natural fit. Griswold was having an opioid use epidemic at the time. And our first selectman at the time wasn't afraid to talk about it. And so he hit the he hit the news. And being from Griswold, but working in Putnam, we kind of reached out and just said, this is what we're doing up here. Let's make it work down there. And that's how Grizzle Pride formed.
Now, can we talk about, how do you feel about talking about the formation of Matt's Mission? Because that's also very difficult.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, it is.
So-
But
So
it is.
the reason why I ask the question,
Mhm.
and it's for people that are not familiar
Sure.
with the organization. You don't know. Some people just think, well, you were just elected to the board
Right.
and you have to talk about this
Right.
and rah, rah.
Yep.
Not the case at all.
Not the case at all.
Not at all.
No, like Miranda said, addiction is a family disease. So it was my brother who was the main sufferer, but we all suffered with him, and we watched him struggle. We watched him battle with the stigma. We watched him try to find job after job to get
What
back.
do you mean the stigma? Because I know that's a big part of Matt's mission.
It is. We're trying to end the stigma that addiction is this choice that we just decide we're going to go down that path. It is a disease, not a criminal act. And people tend to not want to admit that they're suffering from substance use disorders because of the stigma that makes that they feel weak or they feel like they're being judged like it was a choice. When no kid is like, when I grow up, I would like to walk the path of addiction. Nobody ever says that.
Right. That's correct.
Correct. So we watched my brother struggle with that, not being able to find employment because of his record, his history. So we walked that path with him, and unfortunately, in 2015, we lost him to the disease. And then my mom, she took that grief and turned it into action to help others. And so here we are.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead, Jim.
I'd like to just comment that if we had spent all the money that we've spent incarcerating people for minor drug use on help, can you imagine where we might be?
Oh, I couldn't agree more. There's so much work we have to do. There's this helping people is amazing, but we gotta get to the root cause of all of this and help people. Sticking somebody in a cell that is suffering from a mental health disorder, substance use, it's not gonna help them at all.
Doesn't do a thing.
No, it
Incarceration doesn't do
dehumanizes
anything.
them even more.
Right.
No, certainly not.
Do people have to be ready
They do.
to change their path?
They do.
Okay.
That's why we often use the mantra, I guess. We got to meet people where they're at. If they're not ready, they're not ready. We support them at the level that they're at the best we can.
Got it.
Mm-hmm. And that's where the risk reduction programs are really seeing, change there, because we're keeping them safe until they are ready. But we're making those connections in the meantime.
Right.
We're seeing them every week. Yes, we may be supplying them with needles, but we're keeping them safe while they use wheat. We're supplying them with naloxone. We're giving them fentanyl testing strips. We're giving them alcohol swabs to clean any wounds. They can do HIV testing on site. They can do Hep C testing on site. So we're keeping them and the community safe by offering these services.
You just mentioned giving away needles.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain what you guys do?
So it's a needle exchange program, and that's just one component of it. But we provide clean needles and take in the used needles for safe disposal, because if you go to Griswold now, you're going to see, postings of needles all, around you at city. So we want to keep the community safe. And I know this is a controversial program for so many, but this is what's working out there. If you do the research on risk reduction programs, you're going to see the evaluation component that this is working.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just one component to, somebody's journey to recovery.
You want to go ahead?
Yeah, people are going to use regardless. So providing them a place to get clean needles, dispose of the older ones. I mean, they're going to do it anyway. So let's have that spot. And also, I forget the percentage, but people that participate in the needle exchange program are more likely to seek treatment. It's 5 times more likely to seek treatment.
So that's the reason for that. And that's good, that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
And these are
Very
people
good
you
thing.
probably may or may not have reached otherwise.
Yeah, because they're coming in to get this service that you're supplying, and if you weren't supplying it, they wouldn't be coming. So there's a much greater chance for positive interactions between.
Absolutely. It's an outreach program. We're reaching that population that we normally wouldn't touch. You're right. Mm-hmm.
That's very good.
Yeah.
So it's something when people look at something as a negative, or you had mentioned, who mentioned Griswold now? Was it
Miranda,
you?
yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'm not a big fan of that
No.
that group. I love Carl Lucier. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But as
And
far
it's not
as,
just Griswold now, it's any community.
It's social
Facebook
media.
group.
Right.
So,
because
Yep,
you
it
get
is.
that one or two people that get in there, and they're the same ones that are bitching about their cable sucks.
Yeah.
So, but one of the things that I hear a lot is, or the feedback that I get, why I get the feedback, I try to direct it to you guys, but I get it because they say, we don't hear much about addiction anymore. So the opioid crisis must be going away because it's not in the news or anything like that.
Well, then they're just not looking in the right places, or maybe they're not following the right news sources, but it's out there. I mean, you can Google it. We've had the most overdoses we've ever had this past year. So, some people are like, well, you're doing all this and we're still, seeing an increase in overdoses. What if we weren't doing what we were doing? Could you imagine how many deaths there would be?
Yep. And just because something's not right in your face doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
Right.
People.
That's why I'm glad you're talking about this right now,
absolutely. So. Yeah, where the opioid crisis is going strong, people.
Yeah.
Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. And with the pandemic, if anything, it got worse. People being isolated
Yeah.
and not having access to people or
Right.
services.
Using alone, like most overdose deaths that we're seeing are just people that are using alone. And so the pandemic just, magnified that.
Mhm.
But there's apps out there actually for people to use safely. So there's two different ones, and you can one of them will just connect you to a helpline. So they will just stay on the line with you when you're using to make sure you're alert. And if you're not alert, they're going to call 911. And then there's another one where you actually create your own rescue plan, whether it's maybe your neighbor has Narcan or something like that. But that one, if you don't want the police involved or EMTs involved, they can contact a neighbor, they can contact your parent, whoever that can help you.
Do you think the lockdown over the coronavirus has increased the number of incidences that you're observing from the point of view of the loneliness, the depression, and all the rest of that?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yes.
I would certainly have thought so.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
I think the apps that you just mentioned are wonderful because it gives another option.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That maybe some people didn't figure that they had.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have Alcoholics Anonymous, where you have people who are admitting their addiction and will gather at weekly meetings or things like that?
Yeah, we prior to the pandemic, we were doing a monthly support group.
Yep.
We didn't have the same structure as say.
Don't need the same structure.
Right. We turned to virtual when the pandemic happened, and we're going to go back
In October.
in October. Yep, in October. So, I mean, like I said, it's set up differently, but sure, it's a safe space, judgment-free to come and chat and.
Yep.
And to, I guess, adapt to that when we had to go virtual for everything, and we weren't, with the support groups kind of just faded with that, because you're not having that face-to-face connection. But so to adapt to that, we created a virtual resource library. So we collected videos of all of the local resources here for treatment, behavioral health services, and they're all compiled into a nice virtual resource library on each of our websites. So matsmission.net
Yep.
and
Correct.
grizzlepride.org. You can check them out.
Try to get all the things in one place,
Mhm.
one easy to see place.
Quick videos, what the program's about, how
Right.
to access it. And
Mhm.
it's a great service.
Yep.
Are you seeing success with it? How do you feel right now with Matt's Mission? How do you feel the success of the group is so far?
I mean,
I'm assuming. You saved one, and it's a success.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, we've seen such an influx of calls in the last few months over just the last few months alone, we've been super successful, I would say.
Good.
So yeah, I'm happy.
Mhm.
And we're growing. We continue to grow. So we got a call not that long ago. Somebody reached out to the 211 info line and they directed them to us, which is
Huge.
That's
And
huge.
they're doing all this with zero grant funding. They're doing this on their own, like with fundraising and everything, volunteers. Like
Yep.
this is huge,
Yep.
huge
Hmm.
what they've accomplished.
Thank you,
Together
Miranda.
with Grizzle Pride, all the Narcan we gave
Oh,
out,
sure,
that's
yeah.
lives saved, that's someone's
Yeah.
loved one.
Yep.
We received 6 Narcan kits from Uncas Health District last month, and they were gone within a few days.
Right.
Mhm.
It would seem to me that if you could connect with the right people,
Mhm.
there's got to be people out there that know about grants that would be where you could take and fill out an application for a grant for what you're doing, and you've got a history that would make someone think about investing in this because they can see the benefits of it. So I'd
Sure.
suggest that you look at that, try to find somebody that can steer you towards grant money, because there's got to be, we're throwing hundreds of billions of dollars of money around here today.
Right, right.
And much of it's just being wasted, but
Yeah, we've been talking about that. We're gonna maybe make a small committee or something. I tried to look into grants myself, and it is a whole big world.
It's a whole job.
Yeah,
It's a
it's
whole
a
job.
whole
it's
job.
it's a different thing.
Yep.
What is the difference between Matt's Mission and Grizzle Pride? I mean, I know you guys work well together, but I don't think
We do.
people know they think, oh, you guys do the same thing. Why are you both here in
Right.
Grizzle? But you guys
Right.
are very different.
Right. So we're youth focused. We are we're prevention. So we're looking at the upstream. So we're trying to prevent what they're trying to navigate.
Eradicate.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Right. That's a perfect way to put that.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
easiest way.
Yeah.
Donna makes a comment. Kathy, Kelly, and Miranda should be commended for all that they do. What they do is an asset. We are lucky to have them in our community. I wish programs like theirs were around in the 70s to help my two late brothers. Like Kelly said, addiction does affect the entire family.
Thank
Yep.
you, Donna.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Donna.
So
Appreciate that.
you know who it is, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
I think he's the only one I know named Donna.
Yeah. Yep.
So, but you see these stories come out, from places that you didn't realize where they came from, and and I think maybe you understand people a little bit better when you hear these stories
Mm.
of what has happened. But sometimes people take it for granted.
Sure. Sure.
Do you think family members take it for granted sometimes when they have?
Sometimes, sure,
Okay.
sure, absolutely. And the face of addiction is changing. I think for a long time we had this picture in our heads, or a lot of people did, of what does somebody that suffers from substance use disorder look like, and it's now
They look like you and me.
they look like you and me. Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. It's our teachers, our neighbors, our sons, our doctors, it affects all walks of life.
It's not just the typical homeless guy or girl on the street.
Nope. It's not just people that live in poverty. It's not just people that have mental health issues. It's anybody and everybody could be affected.
Sure.
I have a question for you. There's a lot of talk, or at least I remember a lot of talk about marijuana being a gateway drug to more powerful things. Is there much evidence that is true or not?
So the gateway drug, I don't know, term isn't really used much in our field anymore, because it kind of insinuated, well, if you smoke pot, you're going to go on to have a problem. That's not the case.
Okay.
But what is the case is that you don't start with heroin, you don't start with fentanyl. So somebody with a substance use disorder probably started with something else, maybe marijuana, maybe alcohol, whatever. But it doesn't necessarily mean that by smoking pot, you're going to become a heroin user by any means. So it's kind of, we're kind of steering clear from the gateway drug language right now.
Yep.
I'm just going to show you that. I don't know. Are you familiar?
Mm,
Are you familiar?
mm-mm.
No? Okay.
No. Just hearing about this now.
Yeah, that was just sent to me.
Oh wow. Well, thanks for sharing.
So
I'll send it to you, please do. Please do.
I'll show you too. Oh, look, Kathy Devacy on camera.
Hello.
Look at her.
Morning.
Hurry up, snap your
everyone.
photos now. Get them.
Hurry up.
She's going to run.
It's the tribunal.
Yeah.
To kind of go off of what Miranda said a little bit, I remember years and years and years ago, my brother and I were driving down the road, and we were just talking, and he was talking about drug education programs from school and whatnot, and he was like, they told me if I smoked pot, then my life was just gonna go to crap. And they told me if I did cocaine, I'd be selling all my stuff on the street to get more cocaine. And if I did this, I would be doing this. And he was like, I did all those things and I was fine. So I thought, they were, that when they told me if I did heroin, my life would be over, that was just a lie too. That I was able to do cocaine a few times and I wasn't selling my stuff on the street, whatever, and it was pretty profound to me. It was the way he said it. And, if people maybe had just been more honest, and I'm not saying that would have prevented or changed anything, but it would have
The scare
helped.
tactic.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
it's the same
Right.
thing
Yeah.
with the vaccines right now. We're
Mhm.
scaring people.
Right.
So,
I mean, fear is a powerful motivator, so
Absolutely.
yeah. So I just wanted to share that one.
Are you younger or older than your brother was?
Older.
You're older.
Mhm. About 4 years.
Okay. I'm just curious.
Mm-hmm.
So this facility that Beth just shared called Bridges of America. Did you think like this is a facility? Do you think a facility like this would be helpful in our area? Something that is just straight, deals with the issue of drug addiction, instead of the facilities that are out there now in Connecticut that are available, but they run like the whole gamut.
I'm sure. I mean,
I'm just asking because I don't.
Yeah, it's possible. I think. I mean, it's just my opinion, but I think that a big thing that we really need is something for that transition. People, they leave the treatment facilities, the detox or the rehabs, and then what? They have to. There's so much to do, and they're kind of just.
That's when Daryl McGraw comes in.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
It's like an incident that I read about a few years ago back out in one of the western states. I don't remember if it was Utah or Idaho or someplace. People that were coming back into, from prison into society again. Well, they have to show that they're clean and everything else before they can get any help. This city, they took and reversed that totally. You came, they gave you a place to live, they supported you so you could get on your feet. So they had the help to begin with.
Right.
That's where we need to be going with this also.
Agreed. Yep.
Absolutely.
Agreed.
Now you had said, that if you do marijuana, it's not necessarily a quote unquote gateway, which is a term that's not really used anymore. I have to say, just from my own personal family experience, that I agree it's not. And I'll tell you why, because, and I don't know if I told you this story, but the biggest marijuana user I've ever known was my mother. And she did it after, and I was scared to death of it. Scared absolutely to death of it. And she never did anything else, as far as that was concerned. But she used it in the way that people use medical marijuana today. You know what I mean? So I personally think that there's a use for it in society.
Absolutely.
But there's also other things that are not good. Say like when things are laced or whatever.
Right.
And it's not good for a youth's brain who is still developing.
Right.
There you go. All right, so
that's
go
the
ahead.
most important thing.
Yep.
To stress.
Talk about that. Can you talk about that for a minute? Or
Yeah, with marijuana now being recreational, legalized, that's one thing that we have to stress is that, yes, it is now legal for adults, 21 and older. But our job to prevent youth marijuana use is still going to focus, on that, making that connection that it's not healthy for a developing brain, just as alcohol or any other substance. And marijuana might have, this medical, uses and all this stuff. But it's, first of all, it's not the same marijuana as we had growing up. The THC levels are ridiculous. So that's very important. And now before you just smoked marijuana, now there's the whole new market of ways to consume marijuana. And kids don't know the difference between a gummy bear and an edible.
Right.
So it's so important that if you're an adult marijuana user, store that safely. We are writing grant after grant right now, Grizzle Pride is, to purchase these odor-free locking storage containers specifically for edibles. So as soon as we have them in, we'll be handing them out, but we need to get them out to the families. There is no shade, there is no judgment here. I just want everybody to lock up their marijuana, because if we talk to DCF, they're already seeing overdoses of children left and right from edibles.
This could apply equally well to prescription drugs.
Oh, absolutely.
Right,
We've been handing out prescription drug locking boxes for a few years now, but this, with the marijuana edibles, this is huge right now.
I mean, and that makes sense. It looks
I'm glad
like
you went down that road
like
with this
a candy,
conversation.
literal candy or whatever. That it doesn't. It's not like it looks like poison or scary.
They have
Don't-
gummy bears for everything, not just this, but they even have, the pepper, the Carolina Reapers.
Yeah.
They're very hot. They have gummy bears that have that in it.
Who would want that?
I don't know,
Huh.
but they do.
Well, yeah, gummy bear for everything.
That's what I meant, and so, you guys are wonderful. You
You're
guys really are.
wonderful.
No, I'm not. I'm just sitting here trying to give you guys a way to get stuff out
Yeah,
there.
you keep inflating his ego because I keep taking it down.
No,
It will
no,
balance.
He needs that balance, you know.
Yin
I
and yang.
don't really have an ego. I don't think I do. There is one thing that I do want to talk about, and this is so. Well, let's just close this portion.
Sure.
Matt's Mission Saturday 9 to 12.
Please come.
Veterans
Yes.
Memorial Park.
Raffle, speakers, Narcan and t-shirts for free while supplies last. And it's supposed to be a beautiful day, guys and gals. Like sunny, low 70s. So come on out.
Miranda, tell us about an event that you guys have where you're going to be participating in called Feed the Need.
Yeah, this is actually Ryan Aubin's gig.
Okay.
He brings in, I think is it the Lighthouse Point Church?
Yes.
Yes, and they are providing, bags of food to anybody who needs it. So I think it's next week. You have the flyer in front of you, Mike.
16th. The
Yes.
16th, yeah.
It's gonna make
It's
you
Thursday.
sad.
It's actually Thursday, which will be September 16th, and it's 12 to 2:15. Why not 2:20?
Probably because of the schools.
Schools.
Yeah.
So 12 to 2:15. Let's see. Bagged lunch, coffee, cold drinks, food pantry, personal care items, and clothing. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah,
That's
huge
very
resource.
awesome.
And it's going to be all at the youth center right down on Ashland Street, 68 Ashland Street.
Well, while we're talking about valuable assets in the town, such as your program and your program, I mean, Ryan Aubin, I give him my accolades
he's
also
awesome.
Absolutely.
for what he's been doing.
Yeah,
Yep.
he does a lot.
Agreed. Round of applause for you, Ryan.
Anything else you guys want to bring up? Or
No, it's
No.
nice to see you. Thanks
good to
for
see
having
you
us.
too. Good to see you
Appreciate
too.
it.
I told you about my personal issue that I had that
Yeah.
I gotta make sure I take care of that in a few
Sure,
minutes.
please do because
Ooh, yeah, I know. Ooh, I tell you, it's not what you think. All right.
Well, you don't have
So
it's
we'll
COVID.
see
worse.
that
It's
Oh.
worse than you think.
No, if I had COVID, I wouldn't be able to smell it.
That's
So-
what I'm saying.
Right.
I was talking to the girls.
Yeah. That was COVID negative.
Urgh. All right. So Matt's Mission this Saturday, 9 to 12, Veterans Memorial Park, and
Mike
Feed the
will be
Need.
there. We forgot to add that.
Oh yeah, well, I'll be there too, but I'm just
They
gonna
know.
do sound for you guys.
Sound and maybe say a few things.
Yeah,
Do a little dance.
make a little love. Get down tonight. Get down tonight. All right, coming up in a couple of minutes, we have we're gonna totally redo the whole thing that we're doing right now. We're gonna get into some psychic fun with Cat. What the hell's your name?
Lisa.
With Lisa Soucy in just a couple of minutes right here on SNSN.
The flagship for Griswold High School sports, and your home for local news and weather.
Broadcasting from Main Street in the borough of Jewett City.
The Streeting News and Sports Network, SNSN.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. 4 former Gitmo detainees have been named to the cabinets of the new Taliban government of Afghanistan. Those aren't the only appointments raising eyebrows around the world. Sirajuddin Haqqani is the new interior minister, and the FBI has a $5 million bounty on his head. Senator Ben Sass describing Haqqani as a bloodthirsty terrorist, armed, dangerous, and running a country we just abandoned. Former President George W. Bush and Vice President Kamala Harris to attend a 9/11 ceremony, Shanksville, Pennsylvania, this weekend.
Former President Bush will be among those speaking at the 20th annual observance of the September 11th attacks at the Flight 93 National Memorial. During the ceremony, the names of the passengers and crew members from Flight 93 will be read with the ringing of the bells of remembrance. Vice President Harris will attend, but is not scheduled to give remarks. President Biden will visit the memorial separately as he visits all 3 9/11 crash sites on Saturday. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Nonsense. That's how Florida Republican Governor Ron DeSantis describes talk of him running for president in 2024. That has some Trump backers pumped up. They're pulling for Mr. Trump to jump into the race. And speaking of the former president, he is firing back at departing GOP Senator Pat Toomey.
The former president is calling Toomey, quote, a terrible representative for both Pennsylvania and the United States. Mr. Trump also repeated his support for Republican Sean Parnell, who's in the race to replace Toomey next year. Toomey is one one of 7 Republicans who voted to convict Mr. Trump in his second impeachment trial earlier this year. In an interview last week, Toomey also urged the GOP not to nominate Trump again in 2024. Bob Hager reporting.
Wall Street, the Dow is down 90 points, the NASDAQ off 140, and the S&P trading 17 points in the red. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Listener that stands out that I worked with was this older couple that was interested in refinancing. They reached out to a few different lenders and, their credit wasn't the best. I know some of these other bigger banks, you just won't hear back from them, which I cannot stand. Not everybody has the 780 credit scores, and just because you don't qualify at one time doesn't mean that you'll never qualify. I'll walk you through what you have to do, whether it's 2, 3, 6 months from now. Back to that older couple, we worked with them for months and months to improve their credit, and we were able to get the loan done. We were saving them hundreds each month, thousands of dollars a year. Finally got themselves into a situation financially that they can handle, and they can start saving money each month for retirement. End of the day, they just could not be happier, which just put a huge smile on my face.
We are United Faith Mortgage.
United Faith Mortgage is a DBA of United Mortgage Corp. 25 Meadow Park Road, Midland, New York. Licensed mortgage banker. For all licensing information, go to NMLS Consumer Access Title or corporate NMLS number 1330. Equal housing lender. License in Alaska, Hawaii, Georgia, Massachusetts, North Dakota, South Dakota, or Utah.
India's top court clearing the way for more women to join the military.
Women were previously only able to join the armed forces on short-term commissions for up to 5 years, which resulted in them making up just half of 1% of the Army's 1.4 million personnel, 1% of the Air Force, and 6.5% of the Navy. They've also not had the same benefits as their male counterparts. Pressure was building from India's Supreme Court, which criticised the government for having a regressive mindset and discriminative policies. So women will now be allowed to study for permanent commissions alongside men, though they'll still be blocked from serving in most frontline combat roles.
That's the BBC's Dan Johnson. Moroccans choosing a new parliament and local leaders in elections that have been reshaped by the pandemic, whose outcome tough to predict as opinion polls were not allowed ahead of the vote. News and analysis at townhall.com. 6 of the 20 men going on trial in France for the deadly 2015 ISIS attack on Paris being tried in absentia.
Salah Abdeslam, who abandoned his rental car in northern Paris and discarded a malfunctioning suicide vest before fleeing home to Brussels, has refused to speak with investigators, but he holds the answers to many of the remaining questions about the attack and the people who planned it, both in Europe and abroad. For the first time, victims
The
could
9 a.m.
also have
report on the streaming news and sports network is being brought to you by Charlene's Diner, 37 Main Street, Jewett City. Family owned for almost 40 years. Order what you want, eat what you get. That's Charlene's Diner.
I love working here because of the people, and I get to work with my family every day.
Come to Charlene's Diner for the best breakfast you've ever had.
That was Brittany and Matt from Charlene's Diner on Main Street in Jewett City. There are only a few things that have been able to stand the test of time in Jewett City, and one of them just happens to be Charlene's Diner, who just celebrated their 40th anniversary in business. How do you stay in business that long in a small town like Jewett City? It's a simple recipe, really great food and friendly service, and of course, family. You'll feel like family too, because you'll always be greeted with a smile that makes you feel like you're right at home. Stop by for breakfast or lunch 7 days a week. If you don't have any time, well, that's no problem. Order ahead and your food will be waiting for you when you walk into Charlene's door. You can find Charlene's Diner on Facebook too. Stop in and join the family for breakfast or lunch today.
I'm Charlene. Come to Charlene's Diner and order what you want and eat what you get.
This is a news update from the Streaming News and Sports Programming Network, SNSN. On Wednesday evening at about 9:30, there was a 3-car motor vehicle accident on North Main Street in the borough of Jewett City in the vicinity of Palmer Avenue. Connecticut State Police and American Ambulance responded to the scene. There were some Griswold High School students that were involved in the accident. However, no names were released. 2 were taken to the hospital for suspected minor injuries. Back on May 24th of this year at about 1:11 p.m., Norwich police responded to North Cliff Street for the report of shots fired. As patrol units arrived on scene, spent shell casings were found on the street. The bullets struck an occupied multi-family residence, but no one was injured as a result of the shooting. As the investigation continued, a suspect was identified as Taquiz Scott, which an arrest warrant was obtained for on August 15th. On September 6th, New London police executed a search and seizure warrant at a residence for an unrelated investigation. Taquiz Scott was there and was taken into custody and presented for arraignment in New London. He was charged with unlawful discharge of a firearm, reckless endangerment, first-degree assault, and carrying a pistol without a permit. Bond was set at $200,000. This Saturday, September 11th, is the 5th annual Matt's Mission Celebrates Recovery event, and it will be at Veterans Memorial Park, 68 Ashland Street in Jewett City. The event will take place from 9 a.m. until noon. There'll be some free T-shirts, and even Narcan is available while supplies last. You can win some great prizes in the annual Matt's Mission raffle. You can listen to some incredible speakers who will share real stories of addiction and recovery. Check out Matt's Mission on Facebook for more updates. That'll be this Saturday, September 11th from 9 a.m. till noon at Veterans Memorial Park. Also on September 11th, there'll be a Remember Together 9/11 memorial service. That'll be Saturday, September 11th, held at 1 p.m. at the 9/11 Memorial on the Griswold school grounds. They ask you to please bring your own chairs and wear your mask. Social distancing rules will apply. In the event of rain, unfortunately, the event will be canceled. So 1 o'clock, the Remember Together 9/11 memorial service. Saturday, September 11th at 1 o'clock on the Griswold School Grounds.
The 9 a.m. report on SNSN has been brought to you by Charlene's Diner, 37 Main Street, Jewett City. Family owned for almost 40 years. Order what you want, eat what you get. That's Charlene's Diner.
Here's a look at your local weather forecast on SNSN. We'll have some showers today and maybe even a thunderstorm later on this afternoon. Some of the storms could produce some heavy rainfall. Temps right around 75 degrees. For tonight, showers are likely to continue up until about 11 o'clock or so. And the rain, again, could be heavy at times. Temps dropping down to about 59. And then for Friday, sunny skies are expected. Temps right around 74 degrees.
The voice of Griswold, Jewett City and Plainfield, SNSN.
All right, good morning, everybody. It's 9:39. It's time for Psychic Thursday.
Oh, Thursday. Yeah, you got me.
See, we don't do it on Tuesday.
I know.
Psychic Thursday.
Yep.
Lisa's got her cards. She has her tarot cards.
Of course.
So you are multifaceted.
I am. I was thinking about bringing my pendulum too, so I like using a pendulum too.
I think that is fun.
It is
using the pendulum because it's like
yeah,
you're going around in a circle, back and forth.
Well, you figure back in the day they used like a form of pendulum, like they used dowsing rods to locate water.
Mm-hmm.
So dowsing rods, read the energy from the water. They knew where to dig to get wells. And most of your bigger buildings are built on a pendulum status, so that way they can flow freely in the wind without causing damage.
Got it.
So
not bad.
Yeah.
I'm ready to Psychic Thursday. Right here at SNSN, we have Lisa Soucy from Crystal Visions from beautiful downtown Jewett City, the borough.
Mm-hmm.
And a wonderful, wonderful building it is.
Oh, yes, it's so wonderful. Yeah, not.
Hurry up, get down there today before it collapses.
Exactly. That's exactly what, I'm feeling is like that building's going to fall anytime now.
It's going to implode.
Yeah, and you've seen some of the pictures and stuff. What do you think?
It doesn't look promising.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't look promising at all.
And I do have visions driving into the shop and really seeing either the building on fire or the building no longer there. So
I don't know if it's going to catch on fire, but
well, you don't know about the boiler system problems we have in that place. Yeah.
All I can figure is it's just going to come crumbling down.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And they keep putting Band-Aids on it and Band-Aids on it and Band-Aids on it. And I don't get it. Like, to me, that whole building is...
It's a mess.
It is.
It's an absolute mess.
I'm surprised that the town hasn't condemned it, to tell you the truth.
So before we go on, psychic readings are for entertainment purposes only. Lisa is not a doctor. She's not a physician. She's not a lawyer or any of those funky things. So like we said, it is for entertainment purposes only. Do not take it as actual advice.
Yes. Well, they can take it or leave it. It's totally up to them. So.
Daryl says if it catches on fire, it'll probably be my fault. Meaning him, not me.
Yeah, we'll see. Daryl is actually, in
it's one of the businesses there.
And he has a small cubbyhole unit above his area in the back, and even the floors rotted out in there. Like that whole thing, I'm surprised has not come down and poured Daryl's head.
Yeah. Oh, look, it's Personal Phone Call Thursday.
No.
This just in, a couple of areas in Connecticut right now under a tornado warning.
Nice.
Yeah, is that something? Coventry and the Glastonbury areas.
Well, didn't we have I think Plainfield got a tornado, or Windham County got a tornado warning this morning.
Yep.
But
it has been ended.
4.
So, just so you know, the tornado warning is done. So if anybody has any questions, oh my goodness, 860-591-1054. And you can ask in the chat room if you want to.
Yeah.
But it's always better if you call. But I noticed that we've been getting less and less calls because they've been asking more and more in the chat room.
Yeah.
But Lisa, please go ahead and explain the difference between doing a reading from somebody on the phone and then somebody in the chat room.
It's just a lot easier to connect with the energy if it's a direct person, especially for me, myself. Like if I open myself up to whoever comes in, like everybody that's watching or in the chat rooms or anything like that, I have 15,000 spirits that are coming in saying, hey, that person wants to talk to me. I want to talk to that person. But I can't make the direct connection as easy. So
it is better if you can call, which is the numbers on the scrolling on the bottom of your screen right now. It's 860-591-1054.
Yep. I mean, yes and no questions are easy over chat because I just flip a few cards to get the yes or no questions, but anything that's more in depth, phone call is nice. So
got it.
Or they can't call, of course, because we do get people from all over the world. So,
we do.
Which is pretty impressive.
We don't, not many people in there this morning, but then again, I really think
an evening.
I think an evening would be would be much better.
Yeah. So what evening would you prefer to do? I can't do Fridays, but
I think tonight. I think Thursday's a good night.
Okay. What time are you talking on Thursdays? What time?
Like 8 o'clock.
Now, is it something you want me to come into the studio for, or?
Oh, can you? I mean, or is that too late for you?
Well, just because I close here at 4, then go home and come, so
yeah,
that would be the only thing on Thursdays because that's one of my days that I'm open.
It's difficult. I mean, we could do it virtually, but you can't do it on a phone. You can't do it on your phone.
Yeah.
It'll just be a crappy connection.
No, I use usually my laptop whenever I'm doing anything like that.
All right. Then, we could certainly do it that way. We wouldn't take phone calls.
Okay.
Wouldn't be able to take phone calls.
So do you want to pick a different day? Like I can do Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday evenings because I'm not open those days.
We'll have to take a look because I just picked up another gig where I'm coaching a baseball team.
Yeah. That's good for you.
So-
It'll keep your heart healthy.
Oh, it'll be fun. I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to it. I'm real excited when they asked me to do it. They asked me to do it. And I think because they didn't have anybody else. But they still asked me.
Well, it's because a lot of people aren't doing things anymore. Like
Yeah.
I see the help, even like the help wanted signs are like
Uh-huh.
insane. Like I went to Mr. Z's to pick up my salad last
Mhm.
night. They have a big help wanted sign. They're looking for everything from bartenders to servers to hostesses to like everything. And they're willing to interview you right on the spot.
And the pandemic money is done as far as unemployment is concerned.
Well,
That money's gone.
Well, hopefully people start getting back to work because I feel sorry for a lot of these businesses that, can't keep help. And, they're ending up closing up their businesses because they can't keep the help.
Well, there's going to be a lot of people that are
So-
going to be coming back to work because they're not getting that extra federal money in their unemployment check.
Good.
So that'll be done.
Yeah. It needs to be done. I mean, granted, if you're like a person that is susceptible to getting any type of like disease, like if you have immune compromised in any way, then I can understand that. But some of these people that just get lazy and just want to sit home and not do anything. Yeah. I don't
And
get
unfortunately, I think there's a lot of that.
that. Mhm.
I think there's a lot of that happening. What do you think?
Yeah, I do.
I know it certainly happened at the beginning. At the beginning, it was like they were getting like $500-$600
Yep. Just
a week.
Yeah, just to stay home.
And that wasn't just the regular money they got from
That was an additional.
unemployment.
Yes.
That was federal money that
Yep.
they were getting.
And it was an additional fund. Yep. I kept telling my daughter she needed to take a mental health leave at that point. My oldest daughter. And she's like, nope. So she worked through the whole entire thing. So did my other daughter until she went out on her maternity leave. So I guess I raised my girls pretty good to have, a good work ethics. So
we have a question that popped up into the room.
Okay.
And I'm going to be honest, if we don't get any questions, we're just going to end this at 10 o'clock this morning because no one's participating. And we have a room full of trolls.
I love trolls.
I love trolls.
My grandson looks like a troll with a spiky hair.
Joanne says, I'm thinking of moving my business in Jewett City to another location. Overhead is very high for this area. Do you see another that would work?
Okay.
I know where her business is. Do you want me to tell you, or do you want to just kind of go on that?
No, is she down at the mill?
I asked you, do you want me to tell you,
Oh,
or
go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. I just heard mill, so
All right. Wild, because Joanne, I didn't even tell him your last name, and she can't see the screen.
I think a move definitely out of Jewett City is what she needs to do. It is like I did a 3A spread if she should move out of Jewett City into another like area, and 3 aces right off the bat. So that says yes. Could it be like a situation that she needs more exposure is what I'm getting? Like there's not enough exposure where she is. So she needs more exposure. And for what she has and what she's paying for, I definitely would look into another location. And I can, tell her some locations that I looked at. I don't know like what size she's looking for, but there's actually a really nice location up behind Cumberland Farms in Canterbury. And that plot can
you talking about the old Western Auto?
No, I don't know what it used to be. It's like right behind Cumberland Farms. I think it was a bait and tackle shop in there. It's like $1,000 a month, and it's 1,500 or 1,200 square feet. And I noticed that area is picking up quite a bit. So for the dollar value, the rent is really, really cheap. So, but yeah, I hate to tell businesses to leave Jewett City, but yeah.
You're only saying what's in the cards.
Yeah, pretty much.
What's in the cards?
Because it's hard for me too, leaving and looking elsewhere for a location. So I even contemplated moving it in my basement of my house because I have a full basement.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, so do I.
So yeah, then I
Should
don't.
put a coffee shop in there.
In your basement?
Yeah, off the beaten path.
There you go.
Cellar dwellers.
Cellar dwellers. There you go.
That's just off the top of my head.
Well, there is a cute little place that is like you might be looking for that's in Plainfield. I know you want to consider staying in Jewett City or around this area, but it is $700 a month, and it is roughly about 600 to 700 square feet. It's really cute inside. It has like it would make a really nice coffee shop, and it's right near a bakery. So,
who sells coffee?
Well, I don't think the bakery sells coffee.
Which are we talking about? Which bakery?
You know the plaza that's up near the Victorian House.
Oh, you've told me about this one.
Yeah, it has the spiral staircase in it.
Yeah, that's kind of weird for.
But that's like a cute little office area up there.
Okay.
You know, like you can like keep your back stock up there and everything else. It's like a really cute little store. It's only like 200 square feet up there, so it's not a whole lot of room, but it'd be a really cute.
But it's off the
office.
beaten path too.
Off the beaten path. You just said off the beaten path coffee.
No, I said cellar dweller coffee.
First, you said off the beaten path.
Didn't I? Oh. I don't think off the beaten path is good. I think you need to be somewhere straight, right on the main drag.
Well, that's right on Route 12. Like right there on Route 12.
Maybe I'm missing the point here of where you're talking about.
You know where the Victorian house is?
No, maybe you need to tell me again. Is that down mostly in Central Village?
Yes. So it's like Central Village, Plainfield line. So right across the street from there would be the storage units. Right here is
I know.
La Catina or whatever it's called. Then you have the jewelry store, and then you have that L-shaped plaza.
Now I know what you're talking.
Yep, right in there. So.
All right. Well, I think we're going to call it quits for Psychic Thursday today because we only had one question, and it's just about 10 o'clock anyway. So it would be nice. But I think we got to get the group going.
Yeah.
We have the group. You know, we don't have. It's so-called Psychic Tuesday, but I'll work on changing that today, and we'll start promoting that. But then it'll happen. People ask in the group. You go, no, you got to show up on Psychic
you got to
Thursday.
show up and call in and stuff.
Anyway, all right. Thank you very much for coming on down, Ked.
You're welcome.
And we will see you real soon.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Tomorrow, Paul Ash, Chris Goodenough will be in here tomorrow morning right here on SNSN. Have a great day.
Don't just wish for a